Hey guys, Kamina the Koach here. If energy seems down, it's because it is, and if I sound odd or sick, it's because I am. I'm not really sick per se. So, what this video is going to be about today is pollution abroad. Um, So here's the thing. If part of the reason you're living abroad is, or you want to live abroad, is because cost of living is low, a lot of third world countries, air quality is the last thing on their mind. They're just really focusing on feeding their families and making sure that their kids are fed, that their livestock is taken care of, that their houses are warm. So um, they're not thinking about the planet. They're not thinking about air quality. They're not thinking about green. So I've been abroad for a decade, if you've been following me. And my very first station abroad was China. Interestingly enough, though, this was a decade ago. China has really, really changed a lot since then. And I was in a really small town. I was in an almost villagey town when I first lived in China. So I really didn't experience, or at least not to my knowledge, not that I was aware of, pollution. Also, I'm a small town Texas girl. I'm from far west Texas, the desert, edge of the Chihuahua Desert, and we didn't have pollution there either. So the first time I ever saw pollution was in Beijing, China, and I was doing a course there for a month, and I'm like, well, if it's gonna rain, it should just rain. And my friend laughed at me. She said, no, honey, that's pollution. So that was my first real experience with pollution, and I think that if you saw my HSP video, being a highly sensitive person, as I get older, I get more sensitive, and the HSPs that I've spoken to have said the same thing. As they get older, they get more sensitive. So, like I said, I was in Beijing for a whole month, and I saw it, but I didn't feel it. So, the first place that I actually felt the pollution was Chiang Mai, Thailand. So, Chiang Mai, Thailand is actually not what you think of when you think of Thailand. It's not a beachy location, it's located in a valley in between the mountains. So, when they burn, it's especially bad because the smoke settles down in this valley. They burn at the end of their winter season to prepare to plant again. So last year when I went there, I went at the end of the burning season, and I could actually taste it in the back of my throat. And I had to wear a mask when I was outside. So um, fast forward to Jakarta, Indonesia, one of the definitely a very polluted city. It always looks overcast, and that's because of the pollution. I could feel it as soon as I got off the airplane, and I was sick the entire time I was there. I had to wear a mask anytime I was outdoors. I had to. It was a physically very uncomfortable situation. So I guess I was there 10 days. I got a really bad sinus infection. Even once I healed from the sinus infection, still, so it's not really sick. It's just this like pressure in your sinuses. So I'm like, whew, got to get out of here. So if you've been following me, I'm in Yangon, Myanmar. Beautiful place. As far as something someone pointed out to me, as far as Southeast Asia capital cities go, fairly unpolluted. Uh, so right now it's January 14th. Uh, their winter, right? And so I guess they're starting to burn their fields as well to get ready for planting in the spring. It hadn't really been that bad until yesterday, and I could physically feel it all day long. It sucked my energy so much that when I came home from work, I just stripped my clothes off and got into bed. I probably should have showered to wash the pollution off. I just didn't have the energy. I had to sleep with a blanket over my head because my throat is burning. My right now my nose is dripping. So what? So what about this? So there are. I know you've. Well, if you've been abroad, you've seen the little mask. So a paper mask isn't going to do you any good unless it's an N95. That means it's going to 3M N95. It's catching 95% of the particles. There are very small particles that are going to get through the cloth mask and the paper mask. I suppose something is better than nothing. I don't know. I've never tried another type of mask. Before I moved to Chiang Mai, I ordered a package of the 3M mask, the ones that are N95 online from the 3M company before I got there, and thank goodness I did. So I'll be wearing a mask all the time, even indoors, because they don't have air purifiers here because it's such a newly developing country. So what's the point? Who cares? So just the point is, if you're sensitive, if you have asthma, um, these are things you might want to think about before moving overseas, before you choose a place to live overseas. There are applications. I use Air Visual Index. Applications that let you know which time of day it's going to be worse, which activities are okay. Um, yeah, so you just want to be aware. When I was living in the Middle East, of course, for me, living in the Middle East was never a long term goal, but living in the Middle East is never a problem, really. I didn't find it to be a problem in the desert, but it's definitely a problem in Southeast Asia. When I post about it in other groups, people are like, oh, well, it's much worse in New Delhi and it's much worse in Saigon. Well, I'm not in any of those places. This is where I am right now, and I'm struggling. So, anyways, it's more like just a public service announcement, just so you're aware, just so you're not like, nobody told me about this. So, Kamina the Koach told you about it. So, anyways, just for you to be informed. So, keep your eyes open, stay aware, take care of yourself, and until next time, wishing you lots of love, joy, peace, and happiness. Kamina the Koach. See you next time.